anasema sijui what to say but amesema akasema being akaongeza is body, is emotions, is spirit, isn't it? Is life. That's what being is about. Now my question is here before I sit down. How many times are we being? How many times sisi kwa maisha yetu ni mara ngapi tunakuwa? Being, mwalimu wa English, you told me that being is a continuous, isn't it? Ni kitu inaendelea. Going, isn't it? Coming. So being is something continuous. So you are a body that has a spirit and that has emotions. And we ongezea hapo thoughts. Si ndio? Akili. So how is it you are being? So that is where niliambiwa niwaambie kitu. That is where my challenge is. Every day you wake up, how are you being? Unakuwa aje? Ama we ni doing. Tumekuwa human doings. Like what he said, alisema film what? Film director. Hiyo ni kazi yake. That's what he does. That's not who he is. Lakini he also said he's a born actor. Isn't it? So acting is probably who is in his spirit. So we go back to the question. Who am I? Na nirudisha hii mic. Juali mwachokangi kuongea. Nirudisha hii mic. Tafadhali. Tumeelewana? Yeah.
Wow. Makofi kiasi kwa walai. Yeah, thank you so much. So far but not. Wanasemagaje, nikumbusheni kizungu likuja na meli. Wanasemaga far but. So first of all nafani big up partnership yenye wase wamefanya tukuwa hapa na issue leo. So first na big up Red Cross, thank you for kutupea space. Thank you so much. Kendani Stundo kwa kusimama na sisi the producer. Kuna Students for Liberty, thank you so much. Kuna Brian Moshene Foundation, hao ndo wametusaidia na sound, so we really appreciate. Kuna Round On Concepts, hao ndo wamedesign hii set yote, so tunaweza wapea makofi juu hao ndo wamefanya tuko hapa leo.
And when I fell facing down the east side. I felt the light and opened into to get refined. I felt heartbroken, I felt torn over like pieces. And then I realized the time was it, shedding for the light. I followed it, I made it twice what I lived for. I made it me and separated my dreams for what I was made of. It was time to get my freedom. And then I shouted life, life, cause it was on me. And I found life on the light. And I can't believe it happened for me to die, then be alive. And I can't believe it happened. I fell down on open ridges, falling on the thorns and toxic pieces. And then I came down to Christ to give me life and light to shine. And I found life on the light. And I can't believe it happened for me to die, then be alive. And I can't believe it happened. I fell down on open ridges, falling on the thorns and toxic pieces. And then I came down to Christ to give me life and light to shine. Habari zenyu. You guys are good? Thank you. I think that's a good introduction. My name is Lord Campbell. I'm a singer, songwriter, producer, writer, and also a polymath. And the reason why the poster was called The Life of a Polymath is because a polymath is someone who deals with multiple disciplines. And at this generation, yenye tuko, AI is replacing each and every person kila wakati. So you need to be very fast to learn a new discipline. And that's why we started something that is called The Life of a Polymath, Creative Garage. And now Welcome to the Creative Garage. Pigeni makofi, at least umefika. And today we'll be discussing a topic that is very, very dear to us, fathers. Because this month is Father's Day. And at the same time, we'll be dealing with mental health for a boy child. So, just a quick run. Nataka si kila mtu ainue mkono tafadhali juu. And then I'll ask some questions. And if your answer is yes, unaiweka chini. So, tuinueni mikono sisi wote juu. Asanteni, asanteni. So, if you didn't grow up with both parents, I mean, with your dad mostly, eka mkono yako chini. Hai, wenye tumeendelea kuinua, yes. If you're in a good relationship with your dad, eka mkono yako chini. Square up peer pressure. Don't have peer pressure. It's okay. It's okay your hand. At least kuna mmoja inaona na ingine sijui yako hiyo bado umeinua ama umeweka chini. I think okay. Kuna mmoja amebaki at least. Mpigieni makofi amebaki, but jipigieni wote makofi. So thank you very much. Let me get into the panel. And on my far left, I have Catherine. Yeah, I have Catherine Guyo. And she's a trainer, teacher, mentor, author, and a speaker passionate about healing, identity, self-awareness, emotional intelligence, and overall personal transformation. As the founder of Reclaim Yourself Clinic, she helps individuals reclaim their identity and rewrite their stories after life challenges. She has guided teens, young adults, and adults in various forums, workshop trainings to achieve personal growth and emotional healing, healthy relationships, and purpose discovery. She's the author of Healing the Soul. That's a book. What makes this book unique is a blend of personal experience, emotional healing, and spiritual reflection. It offers practical ways on how to confront your wounds, walks you through forgiveness, setting boundaries, and achieving wholeness. Please give it up for Catherine Guyo tafadhali. Yeah. And next to her, I have Kevin Kimani. He's an educator, mentor, and a youth development advocate with over 6 years of experience at a senior school level. Holding a bachelor's in English literature with guidance and counseling, he champions mentorship, character formation, and life skills for young people. He actively engages learners, parents, and educators to foster holistic growth, responsible parenting, and boys' empowerment, building respectful, resilient, and responsible men, grounded in the belief that every boy needs guidance and purpose. Kevin shares practical insights on strengthening parent-child relationship and a community-driven character development. Give it up for Kevin. Anything you can add on your intro?
No, I would just emphasize that each one of us here should contact me for a copy of my book because it will help you. And we'll get along to know each other as the session continues.
Thank you. Bwana Kev.
Thank you. I will not add more. You've said enough.
Sawa. Thank you very much. So, if I start with you, Kevin, have you grown up having your dad around?
Well, not biological, but I had a father figure. I had someone who stood in the gap of the dad, who was responsible and shaped up my life since the childhood, since I knew myself to date. He's been there, and I'd say yes. I would say yes because he takes up the position. I mean, being or having a father is not the biological guy who gave or who donated whatever he did. A dad is someone who takes responsibility for the child or for the son who is there and gives them leadership and direction as they grow up. So I'll say yes.
That brings me to a question whether would you want to meet your biological dad?
Yes, I have. And yeah, let me stop that on that.
Okay, let's pass on to... How about you? Yeah, have you grown with your dad around? And what can you say about your dad?
Yes, I grew with my dad around. But let me add something about that. That in my generation, we were born by baby boomers. So these are mothers who had, in my case, we were 7 children, and 5 of us were girls. The father of that time was supposed to just be a present dad. Matters, you see them. You see them. Yes? You see them in the morning, you see them in the evening. They buy things, they pay bills. But for me, after growing up, I realized that was actually not enough, because the emotional aspect of a dad I felt was missing. And so I grew up craving for an emotional attention that my daddy didn't give me. Not because he was aware of it, but that's how they had been trained then. So, you know, the kind of daughter, daddy relationship, you want to sleep on your dad's laps, you want to play around with your dad. I mean, those were scullies, yeah? You were not around near to play with your dad like that. And for me, I guess I was the needy child. I'm born halfway, I'm the middle of the 7. So unajua hiyo time, even tuseme kaa ni nguo, ile mkubwa ikizeeka inapewa mdogo, ule mkubwa ananunuliwa. So kama we ni middle child kama mimi, and the 3 that were ahead of me were girls, I basically received handed down clothes. That was okay growing up. Until when I'm a grown woman and I want to shop. I want to go and buy clothes because that emotional need wasn't there. So yes, I grew up with a physically present dad, a loving dad. He's still there, my daddy, I love you. But the emotional aspect that I required growing up, I feel today that was missing. Yeah.
If I go to you, Kev, growing up, you said the person who brought you up was not your biological dad. Now, at what point and what age did you decide now, this is my father, and I would give him the respect that he deserves as a father?
Well, that was when I was still young, because I knew him when I was still a kid. I was in preschool. I was still young, but I knew he was not. But since he used to play the dad role, yeah. So since then, I started calling him dad, and that has been the routine since then to date.
And it can never change?
No, I don't think it can.
Okay, even if your biological dad appeared and decided he will come and be present, you'll never change that?
Well, he has never appeared.
So I would ask, Nguyo, if I may ask you, you have said that your dad did not connect with you emotionally, right? And I know daughters connect much with their dads more than their mom. Would you allow your son to call another man dad?
I'll answer that in hindsight because my son has a dad who is there and present. But I would say this. All fathers or fathers are supposed to be dads to children, even if they have not birthed them. A responsible man, his role on this world is to provide and protect. And basically, if we narrow it down, children and women. So yes, I would allow my son to be daddied, not fathered, because he's fathered by the one who donated the animal. But he can has a dad figure or a mentor figure who is not his father. And therefore, I would urge all men to be fathers. Because if all men were fathers, then we wouldn't have deadbeat or all these violations that we are seeing around. Yes, I would.
You would allow. Kev, who is a dad to you?
That is a deep question. A dad is a man, first of all, in terms of gender. Number two, someone who is responsible, someone who leads, because as we were created according to the creation theory, we are told that the man was made to lead. So a man who takes direction could be a dad, right? That is a dad. A man who can give direction, can mentor someone, and in the correct path. As she said, we have a father. A father is the one who ensures that you are born, right? And then the dad is the one who ensures your growth in life. So if someone takes the place of a person who can show you growth and take you through life, that is who I could call a dad. And that is my definition of a dad.
How about you, Kate?
We are using dad because it's a locally available word.
Yes, yes.
But I would just concur with what Kev have said. There is a Kiswahili saying, inakuja ikipotea. Kuzaa sio kazi.
Kulea ndio kazi.
Kulea ndio kazi. So me, I would say dad ni ule analea.
So how about those women who think they can do both roles? Kuna wanawake wanasema, especially the single mothers, wanasema mimi ndio baba. Kwanza, especially since Father's Day is coming, they will say, now they watajipost na waseme, nioneni, mimi ndo nimekuwa baba na mama. So what would you say to those ladies?
I will start with what Kev said. Maybe just to repeat. He said, dad is a man by gender. Gender, man. That is who a father is. He's the person who is a man. We cannot have women that are fathers. We cannot have women who are father figures.
So what can you tell the single ladies wenye hawana mabwana? Should they find someone to mentor their male kids or even the girl child? Or should they bring them up alone?
I would advise them to make sure that their kids have father figures, but I would still, if their father is available for that child, their father, and is willing, it's good to work with that. You know, a father who is present before we go to the secondary, that the father isn't there for whatever reason, and therefore we can provide a father figure. And for controversy or what, I don't believe in single mothers and single dads. I'm sorry, nisamehewe. But I believe you are either a mother or a father. Hatuwezi anza kuweka some other labels huku. Like we say there is either male or female. So there is either a mother or a father. There is no single, double. There is no. So you are a mother, you mother your kids. You're not a single mother. You are a mother who pays bills. You are a mother who is doing everything for lack of a father. But you're not single. You are a mother. Yeah. So every individual should have a father figure and should have a father growing up.
Okay. Kev, yeah. You work in a school, right? So, what have you noted among your students, those that have fathers and those that don't have fathers? What can you tell us about their relationship with other children, their performance, and anything else you would want to add on that?
Now, it's very difficult to tell that a child doesn't have a dad or a mom, because if there are people who can act, it's children. Children can pretend that they come from a very stable family, right? But now, a child who comes from an unstable family is very easy to identify. But a child from a broken family, it will be difficult. So let me talk about an unstable family, or a family that has conflicts. Once in a while, the parents leave. Now that's the concentration span. Number one, shortens. The child is not able to concentrate in class. They are not able to interact normally with other kids. And you can tell, even as you are interacting with them, they are not as excited as they normally are when the family is okay, right? But now, a child who lives with their mother only or with their dad only will never show that in real life, all right? They will try as much to hide it because, usually say family is very important, and there are lots of secrets in the family. Now, that can only be identified from now the general behavior, which is not very much projected. You can now tell that this is not from a common, what do you call this family, the father, mother, and children? Nuclear family,
Yeah,
right?
nuclear family.
You can tell that now after they have grown up, now from their behavior after school. But as they are in school, they try to behave like normal kids. Yeah.
So what advice would you offer parents if their parents around?
In terms of,
In terms of the nuclear family, is it best to have a family that is split or to have both parents around?
I have a very conflicting statement about that. Because if you have a family that is in quarrels, that is fighting, that fight should not get to the children. The children should never get to experience the conflict. So you should fight, yes, it's okay to fight, but fight away from the kids, right? Na ikikuwa ngumu, let the kids not be part of it, all right? And if there is separation, it is very important to be mindful of the kids, of their well-being. You know, you could separate with maybe your wife, maybe, and it is also very important that you be present in the child's life. You could be seeing them over the weekend. Let the child know that there is a dad somewhere who comes to see me, right? But that outward, hautaki kumuona, that will really drain them, and their performance is normally affected,
Okay.
both academically and socially.
Okay.
Because they will also, you've had people who, like women, who don't want to interact with men because there is something they experienced in their childhood about their dads. So if we are going to be responsible dads and responsible parents and bring good families up, it is very important to protect a certain image about yourself, because the reputation is bigger than your face.
Okay.
Thank you.
Kate, when would you leave a man you've been married to and you have kids? When would you say this is enough? What are some of the things and red flags that you'd say, you know what, hata kama tuko na watoto, I think I've had enough and I'm leaving and I don't want you to see your kids anymore?
I'll start by saying that just a little bit go back to children and how they manifest the lack of a father or an unstable, family. And Kev is with adult children. So most of these things we'll observe them in the younger children, the preschoolers. We will have them in school. I had the privilege of dealing with small children. They will speak it. They will tell their teacher, daddy doesn't come, daddy doesn't pick, mommy does. They will speak it at that age. But then we will teach them to keep quiet. We'll tell them, don't say that, don't say that, don't tell people that. That's a secret. So we will shame these children and we will close them up. So by the time they're in high school, they are already ashamed of speaking. And that shame was manifested in this room. When you told people to raise their hands, and you started by telling those who seem ideal to put down their hands, as you went down, everybody put down their hands. I'm sure you didn't finish your questions.
Sure.
Because we've been ashamed so much that we have embroidered shame within us that we don't want to talk about it because we were hushed growing up. So by the time they're in high school, they wouldn't speak. They are already ashamed and guilty of their families. Then I'll come to your question and I'll say, it is, I feel like it's very personal, intrusive, but I will answer it this way. If we learn to differentiate between fatherhood and motherhood and spouse, we will be in a better world. Because then, if the father of my children, I cannot keep up with him for whatever reason, because I'm allowed to. It is within myself to choose who I want to relate with and when. So I've decided he's not good enough. Maybe because I feel he's toxic by my definition. Maybe because he's physically harming me or something we call hidden abuse. Then I can leave. But that doesn't make him not the father of my children. He still is the father of my children. So what I need to do as a woman or as a man is to come out of the cocoon that this man is my man and go to the cocoon that this man is the father of my children. And when I had difficulty situations, because I've had them in marriage, it was easier to refer to him as the father of my children than my spouse. And I took that reference because every time when I is not behaving as I want him to, he still is the father of my children. And the worst of it all is that my child did not choose their dad. I chose the father for them. So if I think this guy here is a drunkard and a deadbeat, it is mimicking who I am as a person. I chose the deadbeat. I chose the drunkard. So it is my responsibility to know how to fill the gap or cut the gap or find a way that this man can relate with my children, that I don't be a barrier to him. I wouldn't go fetch him and make him a father. I can't do that. I don't even know how to father kids. I'm a woman, for heaven's sake. But then, I wouldn't be a barrier. Have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. Kev, when do you pack your bags and say, you know what, hata kama mimi ni baba yenu, mimi kuniona kwa hii nyumba tena, kuna kitu kama hiyo, mtaniona tena.
Well.
That's how men are. Especially if we are in a toxic relationship or in a marriage that is toxic, we decide to just pack one bag and leave everything and go. Yeah. But for women, I think lazima okote sijui sufuria ilikuwa yangu, kijiko, nini. Too much chaos. So when do you decide to leave?
The decision to leave is deep. Like you have to take a lot of time before you decide to leave. But I think what would cause the general thing that would cause a man to leave is disrespect. As long as there is respect in the relationship, I don't think a man is not made to be loved. Even the Bible does not tell women to love men. It says men to love women. Then if there is respect, then I don't think you can leave. So if the disrespect is so much projected, you might be forced to leave, which I'm not saying that I'm leaving.
It's a very wise way of answering the question. We want to take a break, so I hope you can do your ready with your artist. I just want to ask the audience whether you guys have any questions so far. I think I can take a few questions before we go for a little musical break. Anyone who has any suggestion, comment? Thank you very much. Kendo, you can pass over the mic to... I think we can use this one. And you can say who you're addressing the question to.
Good afternoon, or it is evening.
It's evening. It's not yet 4, so it's afternoon.
My question goes to Kate. How can you discipline a child without losing the trust as a father? And my second question. How do you define fatherhood when money is not involved in a relationship, in providing as a father? Thank you.
The first question was how to discipline a child. And the broader perspective of disciplining a child is that you have to start disciplining a child early. a child has to come to a situation whereby you know you are a father and you have made, like, say, set of rules or set of policies or whatever you might want to call that you want your child to grow in. So she's born into it. So from as she's smaller, you are teaching these things to this child. So when they become adults, like teenagers, that's where we have a lot of conflict. They already know, because you already set a relationship with them at a younger age. So it has to start early. That's my number one answer. Number two answer is that most young children do not listen to you. They observe you. So if you're telling them not to shout and you are shouting, they will shout, because they don't hear you. They see you. If you're telling them not to talk to mommy that way and you're talking to mommy that way, they will talk to mommy that way. And then you will decode that as naughtiness. So I would say you establish a relationship with your child mapema, early. Let them know who you are, what you like. And also you have to walk in that fabric of being a father. Uvae nguo ya kuwa when you are a father now. So the things that you used to do when you didn't have a child, some of them might have to melt away so that your child can observe you. Having said that, I want to put it a little bit on the women and say women are the one that forms the character of a child at an early age. That is psychology. So a man affirms it. So for you to, that relationship with the mother of your child at the basic level, what we call foundational years, is important that it is there. So that, because a mother can piga mtoto na mtoto bado asichukie mamake. Sisi tuko tu hapa na tulipigwa na bado tunawapendanga. But a dad, you do that to a child, they will say, huyo mwanaume hadi. You stop being, they will say, mwanaume mimi anakuja hapa kunigonga. So also the female part comes in here. The second was, how can I define?
How can you define fatherhood without it involving money?
Actually, there is no money in fatherhood. It is not. So you tell me you are simply telling me talk to the women and tell them, even if we don't have money, we are still fathers. Isn't it? Yes, I would say those women that are here, me inclusive, munaskia. He's saying, tell these women here that we might be broke, but we are still the fathers of those children and we love them, so we shouldn't stop them. Yeah, so there is no money in fatherhood. Fatherhood is fatherhood. Fatherhood, I talked about my dad, and I said my dad was physically present, paid the bills, but the emotional perspective wasn't there. So yes, the Bible talks about providing, but it also talks about protecting, isn't it? So protecting is not money. So fatherhood has to start with you being present. You being present, you mentoring your child. I said affirming. The major difference why of children who didn't have father figures, we are using father figures now because fathers apparently is not as common as it used to, who grew up without having fathers or father figures, is that they were not affirmed. Sijui kama mlikuwa mnasikia wazazi wakisema, ama maybe you hear people saying, tulikuwa tunapigwa and then we were threatened by your mother. Unataka nikuje niambie baba yenyu? Yet amekupiga. Because your father's work was not kukupiga, was to affirm you. So fatherhood in its bare minimum does not involve money. Because kama ninaruhusiwa evolve, we are above 18. Pale mahali mtoto alitengenezewa kulikuwa na do. Wazea, nataka munijibu. Kuna pesa mahali iliingia. Lakini ndio ilileta hii mtoto. So money is not a currency to fatherhood. Ni wewe unahitajika pale.
Do you have anyone else? There is another question. Can do, I think. And you'll tell us your name, and also I think it's good that when you given the mic, you tell us your name and maybe what you do or something funny about you.
Oh, hello guys. My name is Moaz. I'm a virtual assistant. Something funny about me. I think I'm not that funny. So I wanted to pose a question. In terms of fatherhood, how do you define fatherhood in terms of mtu amelelewa na single mother na ameleta different dads riwa kuiraga atiriri we okay if you understand Kikuyu anakuambia we achana na babako alikanyangwa na lori undo baba, then the next moment anakuambia baba alikanyangwa na lori undo baba, like a mother who brings different men na anakuambia umuite baba. So how would you define a father in that setup?
Is the question addressed to both of them? Is the question
To the ladies specifically.
so that means Kate will answer.
I will start by apologizing on behalf of that young man who is here, who had to undergo through that. So I take the womanhood part to say, I'm sorry because that shouldn't happen, and that is irresponsible. But we have you here, yes? And you are a man. So for me, I would talk, that takes us back to trauma. And I would advise such a person to seek help from a therapist who can help you walk through healing that fact of having to have all these men. And I'm sure mi nasikianga Kikuyu, so not waranirie na Ikuyu ni na yako hati modo giura keigwa Ikuyu. But let me avoid that. The thing is to remove that thing that you grew up with, that a father is ni mtu wa kuchange. Changing ni kanguo. So such a person, I strongly believe they need to talk to someone, they need therapy, so that they have to unlearn that definition of a father, ndio have kuweza kuwa na familia pia. Because that is very traumatizing for a child. So I would advise on therapy under that situation. And also I would advise, because you are an adult, you can also research on how to unlearn that behavior. There's something we call unlearning. Kitu ulifunzwa ama kitu uliobserve utoe, ulearn kitu ingine. Yeah.
Is there anyone else? I think there's another question here. We'll be going for a break after this. And we get to listen to some artists perform. So shoot your question.
Hi, my name is Brian. So on that term of trauma, sometimes when you are a child, you can never actually realize you're traumatized unless now you go meet other people and actually realize I behave differently or something like that. So growing up, at times children undergo traumatic experience that they perceive as normal family interactions. So how can you actually define normalized trauma so that you do not pass it on to the next generation?
Is the question addressed to both of them, or?
Yes, any can answer.
I think Kev.
Okay, thank you. There is what we deem as normal from where we've grown, and we usually say that behavior is shaped from our childhood. So how do you take care of who you are bringing up not to be like you? So first of all, you have to accept that you are traumatized. We usually say the first step in healing is acceptance, right? Once you have accepted that, then you start working on yourself first. Now you have to heal. Get away from the patterns that you grew up with, detach from that condition, from those patterns. And then as you are raising your kid, now you have to ensure that they don't experience what you experienced, and in a better way experience what you wished to have experienced as a kid. Now that will help you not pass whatever you had. Number two, as you're doing that, there is usually the temptation of pampering them too much to a point that they might be lost in the process. So it is also very important through therapy also. Going through the treatment, it will also help you in raising of this kid in a strict but a friendly way.
I want to add something. We call these childhood experiences before we call them trauma. Childhood experiences, because they are both good and they're both positive and negative. We have childhood experiences that are positive, and we have childhood experiences that are negative. The negative ones are the ones we say they cause wounding first. You are hurt, and eventually it becomes trauma, isn't it? Almost every person has their own hurt as a child. And normally, childhood trauma is spoken hand in hand with inner child. You have heard about inner child. Yeah. So inner child is that aspect of you that records, as a child, records that your emotions have been violated, your need for a father has been violated, your need for love has been violated. So you accumulate them over time because you're not allowed to speak. And then I talked about shame because now that is a major childhood trauma that you are ashamed about it. There are some people that had actually both families. Like I talked about my part, it was subtle. It was not that my dad abused me, but it affected me. That's also a trauma, even though it was not a major thing. So kama unapata mtoto anafanya kitu unamwambia wacha hiyo ama we growing up watu wanasoma CBC ama nyinyi mnasomesha CBC, one of the things wametoa from the traditional way was this thing of keep quiet. You know, we grew up being keep quiet. Now, why did you even talk in the first place? If you are told to keep, so they removed that keep quiet thing, because that is also a trauma for many of us. We shut down because we are told to keep quiet. So trauma is that, basically. So how would you know you're traumatized? That was your question. By your behaviors. And you have to be, earlier when we were talking, I talked about being. The only way you can identify you have a problem is that you are within yourself. You live within yourself. Isn't it? Wewe na wewe mko pamoja, mnatembeanga, you live within yourself. So you're able to say, like me, I said, I realized that at the rate at which I want to buy new clothes is wanting, isn't it? So where does that come from? So you ask yourself, where does that come from? Okay? So you look at your behaviors and you see, like, because we are talking about men, let me pick a behavior for men. You realize that you are constantly learning towards women. Ukona huyu, you know. See, that's a behavior that is not very present. So you ask yourself, what is it I'm searching for? Because you are searching for validation. So then you ask yourself, where does that come from? And then when you know where that comes from, you are able to heal it, then you can't pass it. And that's where he's saying, and I'm saying, you might need help. Because we have a problem introspecting, all human beings, because of our ego. Have I answered you?
I think we'll come back with the same topic, trauma. But before that, Kendu, you ready? Yeah, we'll take a few minutes break. I think you can give me 2 artists who perform.
All right.
Then after that, we'll be discussing trauma in depth.
We're on it. The next artist is Witty Butterfly.
Love you back in street, shine on. Go reach the sky, better yet, shine on. I've been in the streets for damn too long. I just gotta make it right or wrong. I'll on keep in my mind, not forgone. Like I chatting now, I know what is on. Most wanna talk, don't know what's on. Like a G, I say, hey, move on. Just gotta make it, only God knows how. Like a star, I'ma shine now and forever. Street is down, my cheek can never get home. Deep in my soul, I know real love flows. So thug love to as the whole damn know. Blow like the street taught, you know, whoa. Now this music done, so it's the prophecies. Educate, edutain, name it, whatever. At least we know.